What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. The Biggest Loser. It's reality TV. Reality TV needs ratings. Ratings needs results. Results doesn't give a crap if you gain a ton of weight when the show's over. I'm going to link an article in my description box. Feel free to click on it. Essentially, cutting through it so you don't have to click on it. Basically, everybody who went on the show gained every pound back and added more. Pretty simple. See, here's the thing. I don't like the premise of The Biggest Loser. It's essentially promoting a crash diet. Same with other shows of their like. You know, the bottom line is, I think my partner Chad put it best. We need to look at it more like potty training. You teach kids to use the bathroom, not just to go poop for 1 week, but to poop for the rest of their lives. On The Biggest Loser, they teach them to poop for a week. And then after they're done with that, they completely forget how to poop and they end up shitting all over themselves. That's what's happening here. I don't know why anybody's surprised. You have a bunch of really overweight people with a bunch of really, really bad lifestyles. You put them on a show in a reality TV setting, which I can say is not really, you know, there are differences than your normal life. You have cameras around. I mean, you wake up in the morning and you're mic'd. You go and you train and you have mics on you. You have cameras in your face. They're following you all the time. You're not going to be completely you. It's really hard to cognizantly go to the kitchen and grab a donut when you're being followed. And then you wake up and you do tons of cardio. Tons of all this muscle wasting, muscle gaining, training. Schedules you can't adhere. Most adult males, females, whatever it is, Americans, Australians, any industrialized nation, honestly, can't afford much more than an hour in the day to train. They have these people on an amount of cardio. Now, here's the thing. If they're doing X amount of cardio a day, X amount of training, that becomes their body's baseline. Once they cut that out, their body's metabolic rate is set to that level of activity. So once they go back to normal life, what happens? They gain it all back. Once they get off the starvation diet of 1,000 to 1,200 calories and they go to eating even 1,800 to 2,000, what happens? They gain the weight back. And once they go through the emotional roller coaster of coming off this show, what happens? They binge. They gain it all back. What I promote with my clients, and I've said this on Twitter and I get people mad at me all the time, stop dieting. Make it a lifestyle. The one thing I appreciate and I really, really admire about vegans, vegetarians, paleo, anybody who adheres to a certain style of eating, keto, I don't care which one. I'm going to really point out to vegetarians and vegans because they're 100, they go 120 on that shit. Is that they don't slip. They make it a lifestyle. Their lifestyle is not eating meat. See, now when someone's dieting, they slip, they eat a cookie. A vegan doesn't slip and eat a cheeseburger. Then they're not a vegan anymore because they look at it as much more than food. They do it for ethical purposes usually. And that drives them. And that makes them, well, basically adhere to that diet. What dieters do is they look at it like I have to reach X goal by X time period, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And a lot of dieters don't realize losing fat is easy. It's calories in versus calories out. You could eat a Twinkie diet as long as you eat under your required caloric values, macronutrients. As long as you eat under what as long as you eat less food than your body requires for energy, it'll burn fat and you'll lose weight. It's been shown time and time again in studies, in science. But what happens when you come off the diet and you go out to dinner? Do you realize you go out to Mexican food place, eat a normal meal and get well over your daily value in calories, well over 2,000 calories without even trying, without even filling up? No, you can. So what I like to do with my clients, I like to make it a lifestyle. You know what? That's the reason I don't like these prolific scientific meal plans that these NPC tards come out with. Because what they do is they set people up for failure. That's why you see all the yo-yo binge issues going on in bodybuilding, in fitness, in physique, in bikini. Because you have these girls and guys just spiking it, dropping it, spiking it, dropping it, spiking it, dropping it. Because they don't want to fucking eat tilapia for meal 2 year round. You see what I'm saying? I like a diet that works with people. I have 2 diets that I give to my clients, or 2 diet styles. And I'll tell you which one I prefer. And honestly, it might shock you. See how upper middle class that looked? The way I gently picked up my coffee mug and sipped it? That was some upper middle class shit right there. For all you ladies looking for upper middle class man, I'm sorry. Take it. Here's the deal. I like 2 kinds of diets. One is where you get a set macronutrient. Let's say you have 200 grams of protein, 250 grams of carbs, and 80 grams of fat. And then throughout the day, you track it on your smartphone. And at the end of the day, you make your macros meet within 5% of those goals. Hell, meet them perfectly if you can. It's just impossible to do. To meet perfectly, at least every day. Because there's variances. The way I like to diet, the way I diet myself, is I have food choices. And I use the diabetic exchange. The diabetic exchange is a system in which, let's say you have protein. For example, a chicken breast. You don't count the carbs and fat in chicken breast since it's lean meat. You just count the protein. And it's simple. Lean meat, 7 grams of protein per ounce. Carbohydrate, for example, 4 ounces of sweet potato is 15 grams of carbs. If you need 30 grams of carbs, you eat 8 ounces. You see what I'm saying? So you're able to really adjust to that. A teaspoon of peanut butter is 5 grams of fat. A tablespoon is 15 grams of fat, or 2 tablespoons is 15 grams of fat. So that, when you get what I'm saying, 1 tablespoon of 15 grams of fat. So that's what I do. And what I've found my clients stick to is I give them a choice when I send them their question. I'm like, would you like me to set up a meal plan where I give you meal options, but then you have food options to fill in those meal plans? And then what I do is I adjust cardio and diet and training as they reach stick points to help them reach their goals. And the second option is the macronutrient option. Who does it work better for? I found that busy executives, like my brother, who always uses diabetic exchange because he knows he's going to eat 6 meals a day. He knows he's going to do this and do that. He knows what his schedule is like. It's easy for him. Or if you have someone who has an erratic schedule, someone who works different hours, someone who works night shifts, someone who's maybe in the bartending business where they're up and down, their meal schedule all off, and they need to fit more meals, that's fine. But the thing is, with the meal plan option, I'm also able to, if you miss a meal, there's no such thing. Just eat 2 meals the next meal. It's not rocket science. As long as at the end of the day, your macronutrients are where they need to be. If you're at that 200 grams of protein, 250 grams of carbs, and 80 grams of fat, that was a hypothetical situation set up earlier, then you're good to go. So let me just say, I applaud The Biggest Loser for bringing our country's issue of weight management and of obesity to the forefront. I commend them for also bringing extremely hot trainers on the show. However, I think it is setting unrealistic goals where people should be losing 1 to 2 pounds of body weight per week on a diet. Whereas this show, they're losing like 18,000 pounds per week. So I think people are getting discouraged and also getting a misconception of how fast they should lose fat. And also, if you're adhering to a lifestyle, you want gradual changes so you don't shock your body so much that when you come off, you have not, people always look at the physical, the hunger. Right? We always look at the physical, the pain of being hungry. Food is emotional. It's usually fitting something that's missing in our lives. It's how people deal with stress. It's how people deal with emotion. It's how people deal with loss. How people deal with stress. It's an addictive behavior. And we're not just looking at helping someone deal with the physical issues of dieting, which is I'm so hungry. But when something bad happens in their life, dealing with it emotionally. And until you can get that healthy relationship with food, where it isn't your fallback for when you have a bad moment in your life, you're never going to truly realize the insane awesomeness of living a healthy, balanced lifestyle through diet and exercise. And also in this article, it talks about people, they told them to run through fractured legs and stress. It's like, it's not a long-term program, for the record. It's a fucking TV show. It's not real life. You're living in the real world. Not the real world with the puck. Not the one on MTV. The real world. Where shit happens. And you go to kids' birthday parties and there's fucking cake. And your kid's eating corn dogs for dinner and you choose for a lower calorie, more filling option. That's the real world. You have to learn to live within the real world to function in the real world. And you ain't going to do that shit on TV. So as I look at you, I implore you to please, for the love of all things sacred, stop using the word diet. Simply know that you're eating within a way that you enjoy that will help you reach your health and physique and fitness goals and live a long, healthy life. Or at least while you're here, enjoying the shit out of it. Because I'll tell you what, people always scoff at how I eat and how I like eating fruits, veggies, and I eat chicken breasts, and I don't usually cheat on my diet. But if you guys knew how good I fucking feel every day, you'd hop right on that bandwagon. Because there's no amount of pleasure from food in this world that can equal the feeling I get when I'm able to run circles around people in their 20s. When I'm able to function and I'm able to train bodybuilding and OCR in the same day, work 20 hours, go to sleep, wake up 4 hours later, and crush it all over again. I'm not on cocaine, so it can't be like that shit they did in Wolf of Wall Street. It's just how I roll. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. Health is wealth.